All right, we're going to go ahead and call the City of Sebastian's City Council Workshop and Special Meeting to order. We're first going to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now, you may be seated. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Councilmember Nunn.
Here.
Councilmember Matthews.
Present.
Councilmember Dodd.
Here.
Mayor Jones.
Here.
Vice Mayor McPartland.
Here.
All right, Council, before we move forward with our first candidate, I want to ask, should we allow, there's some folks that are on Zoom now that want to ask questions or whatever. Should we allow that now or at the 5:01 meeting?
I think the 5 o'clock would be more appropriate.
Yeah, I think this is for us here, but the 5:01 meeting, is there agreement with that?
Yes.
5:01, okay. That question has been answered, Mr. Stokes. All right, very good. We're going to first start with our first attorney to interview, and that's Mr. Manny Anand, Jr. Mr. Anand, can you please come forward and give us a brief opening statement?
Yes. Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Vice Mayor, council members. Got it? Council members, first of all, I'd like to thank you for the opportunity you gave me this afternoon in meeting with you in the mornings. I know you're busy, you have a busy schedule, and I appreciate the time you guys gave me during the 101s. Quickly, I just want to go over my resume and why I feel I'm qualified. There's several things I want to address, but my resume. Pretty much, I've been clerking since my first year of law school. I pretty much started with the city of Miami back in '94 as a litigator and did some work with workers' comp. Subsequent to that, I went into a union, and there I represented exclusively government employees, whether they was city, school board, and or even the county. In 3 different counties, I represented them as well. Everything had to do with labor employment issues. Subsequent to that, I went to PSL. PSL, I was a senior city attorney. There I did a garden variety of issues. Predominantly, I was assigned to labor employment and also a board, which is a code enforcement board. Then I came here to Sebastian, and I was your city attorney for over 3 years. And then I touched bases with Melbourne. I was at Melbourne for a year plus. So pretty much what I've been doing since I started practicing law is predominantly in the public sector. I got a lot of knowledge and experience because of that. Knowledge and experience in areas of law like contract, which is really important for the city. Labor employment, which during my first tenure here, labor employment became an issue, and I was able to help out with PERC hearings, land use law, just general governmental law. Also really important for your city attorney to have knowledge with the public records requests. I know we have had issues in the past, so it's really important to understand public records, which is 119, as well as the Sunshine Law, which is 286. In addition to that, I spent 22 plus years in the military. I was there, I had 3 deployments. I was deployed 3 times. I went to Afghanistan, Iraq, and my last deployment was to Doha in Qatar, where I was a command judge advocate of a base, pretty much in charge of the base, advising the commander on things. Ultimately, I retired from the military on June 10th, 2021, with the rank of Lieutenant Colonel. Things why I believe more directly support what I believe separates me from my colleague who's applying for the position is a term that I think all of us are familiar with, is hit the ground running. I know from day one I can hit the ground running for many reasons. Number one and foremost is my familiarity with city. I know there's different things now that you do, like now I heard that you got to have a Granicus project, which is something similar to what we had in Melbourne, which everything now is digitized, which is great. And there's other things which I met with individual council members that I would even suggest that we can probably implement if I come on board. But pretty much it's the fact that I'm really familiar with the City of Sebastian's issue. I understand how the function works here. I'm familiar with every single department heads, with the exception of, I think, maybe 2 came on board after me. So I've worked with all of them, and I'm very familiar with dealing with them. I have experience working with your chartered officers, which is extremely important. Your city attorney should have a good working relationship with your city manager as well as all your charter officers. So I know Brian wasn't the manager when I was here, but I had a good working relationship with Brian when he was, I think it was fleet management. Someone corrected me, it could have been parks, but I could have swore it was fleet management. But regardless, I had a working relationship with him as well as with Jeanette. I know Jeanette's not here right now, but I've also had the same similar working experience working with Kathy. And actually it's interesting because working with the clerk's office, it was a unique aspect, which I didn't really know much, ended up learning the law, which had to do with elections law. That's a quirk that I wasn't too familiar with, but we had the recall. We had a lot of issues dealing with elections, so blowing myself up on it. And I was able to advise them that, and I think they had some public records issues as well. Also, my familiarization with the boards here. I know everything about your boards. When I first started, I wasn't an adamant supporter of going to the construction board. However, your building director came to me, and they had some issues with vendors. So then I thought it was important that I do attend, and I did start attending those boards. So knowing that board, P&Z, important. I know as an attorney, you're more there advising them. Your staff has hands-on, and they know exactly what they're doing. But more there is an advising while you're there, and also, of course, having conversations if need be prior to that. Charter review, it's interesting you have a charter review. Back in 2020, I did the charter review for the city. Of course, council member Matthews sat on that committee. I don't know I know I just started. I don't know if I need to take it over, but I have no problem doing that or working with Jim handling. But I'm very familiar. I know our role in charter is more laid back. It's really run by the committee, where they're more to advise them, direct them, give them guidance, and keep them on schedule, because obviously, ultimately, it's got to go before the electors to vote on. Code enforcement is a pretty important issue. When I was here, I was very successful in pretty much prosecuting every single code enforcement case that at least came before us. I'm very familiar with the process. I know you have a new magistrate now, but shouldn't be any issues meeting her and getting to know her. I'm very familiar with your 2 code enforcement guys. That hasn't changed, and I've worked with them in the past. So those are the reasons why I believe I could hit the ground running. One other thing I want to mention really quick is Florida League of City. I didn't think Florida League of City was an important issue. I thought that was really for non-lawyers. But when my time with Melbourne, they wanted me to get involved with it, and I don't regret it. It was something that I learned. It's something that starting in June, you can get appointed onto a board, and I recommend that to anyone, to be appointed to one of these boards. You can sit down. I know Councilman Dodd. I'm not sure if the mayor has been involved, but I know Councilman Dodd has been involved in several boards. And in that boards, you get to assist them in writing some legislation before it goes to the legislation. But the important things about it is that you're there before, during, and after, whatever, when they come out to make ultimate decision from before it gets signed by the governor. And then they put together a packet. And that packet with all those laws is important because you can share that with your department heads. Of course, you got to break it down, what applies where. And of course, I'm sure you've seen that report. Everything is broken down by categories, and you can share that. And I think it's really important information to have. So if appointed, I will probably ask council to allow me to continue that involvement. I think it's really important. The last thing I would probably re-implement it, and I give that credit to Mr. Stokes when he was starting here, when I first came on board. There used to be an issue where we met all the attorneys in the area to consolidate, to camaraderie, just get together with all of them. It's handled by the county, and I know COVID hit and we stopped doing it until I left. We didn't have a subsequent meeting. But I would like to, if I'm back, is to have that connection again, start meeting with these city attorneys from Indian River County so that we can actually get down and talk about stuff. So pretty much that's it. In summary, appreciate your time. A Happy New Year's to everyone. On behalf of my wife and my daughter, appreciate the opportunity, and I hope you consider my application favorable to be your next city attorney.
All right, thank you so much for that introduction, sir. We're going to go ahead and start with Mr. Dodd with questions, if you don't mind.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I don't really have any questions for Manny. I just have a comment. During our private conversation, Manny and I discussed
Is your mic on, sir?
timing.
Your mic is off?
Is it on?
Yeah. No, I see red.
Now?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay. Have you got your hearing aids hooked to the T-coil?
No, I have this. No, I don't. I have this. But I can hear you. I hear you. Go
Okay. I have mine on the T-call so I can hear if it comes through here. I don't have any real questions for Manny. I'm very familiar with him. I was on the council, but I do want to share that in my conversations, one of my questions to him during our interview was about timing, how long he anticipates if he is retained being here. And Manny's response to me was a minimum of 5 years. So, that was one of the questions that I had, and I think that that was an answer that I expected to get. So he's not looking to be the city attorney here for a year and a half. He's looking to be the city attorney here for a minimum of 5 years. So, but I'm familiar with his work and so forth. And so.
I appreciate that. You weren't the only council member to ask me that question, and I was committed to at least at 5 years. I know you have that new program now that everyone's got to get onto that to be eligible to retire with it. You get that 5 years. So, like your city manager and of course the clerk as well, I'm committed to at least 5 years.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Mr. Dodd, is that it for you? Ms. Matthews?
I really don't have any further questions. We pretty much went over, and again, I'm as well versed with Mr. Anon's work progress. I did ask, one of the questions that I did ask that I did like the answers to is that his learning experience or what he gained by working with Melbourne, and if there was something that he would bring back. And the one thing that I did like the answer to that he promoted was that the better communication and to interact more with the staff and to be available and so things. And so there were the answers to some of those questions were that I really was glad to hear that some of the things and what he did learn from his time and working with Florida League of Cities.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you. Appreciate that. You just addressed what she was asking me during our interview, if you don't mind. The question was, what would I do differently if I come on board? What lessons learned from Melbourne? And the lessons I learned in Melbourne is they do communicate. They're really proactive. So one thing that I would recommend, which I didn't do when I was first here, is I would like, of course, permission of the board if I get appointed, but I would like to be more involved in the meetings with the manager and, be involved, be a staff. And up in Melbourne, I sat next to the manager when she met with her staff. That way, if issues come up, we can address it then, and all her staff is there. So that was one change I would recommend. And also, I had monthly meetings with specific departments. Might be different here. I think the biggest departments here would be police and community development, and I would probably recommend even having those monthly meetings as well as meetings with the manager at least monthly as well. That's what I did over there. I did not do that here. So that's what she's talking about, and that's what I'm willing to do it here as well.
All right, thank you, sir. Is that it for you, Ms. Matthews?
Yes.
Mr. McPartland?
Mr. Dodd took my question away from me,
Okay.
and again, I'm very familiar with Mr. Anon.
All right, very good, and so am I, and so we all should be that are up here, except for Sherry didn't get the opportunity to work with him as a council, but she got to work with him on the charter review and those types of things, which is good, and we appreciate that. Certainly, we're, again, I just want to restate a couple of things. We are now directly into the charter review now, so if we were to have a new attorney comes in, we need someone that's going to be ready to go from the moment that decision is made. And I'm glad to hear that you've said that you have that experience and the knowledge in that as well. The other part is I also I want to ask a question, but it's already been asked about the person being here at least 5 years. That's like one of those things that we don't want somebody, I personally wouldn't want anybody to come in here and be like, well, I'm going to be here for a year or two and then I'm going to go someplace else. We need longevity and we need commitment. So, and I hear you that you have committed to be here for at least 5 years in your statement. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. One of 3 council members asked me that question. I'm committed for at least 5 years, if not
Okay.
longer, but at least 5 years.
All right, and the Granicus program, I don't know how difficult that is. I don't know anything about it, but does anyone up here know what that is and how difficult it is to run and learn? It's not?
It can't,
Granicus, where all our agenda items and stuff they use for the
it can't be any
Granicus
different than
program.
what I did in in Melbourne. It gets triggered. So once you get put on the hopper and your turn comes up, they'll shoot you emails to go on to that link and then review whatever, because everything's already uploaded and gives you the opportunity to review. And even if I want to do an item, I have the same permission to go into that and document everything. and upload my, so I did do a similar, I'm not sure if it's called Granicus, I don't remember, but there is a similar a process that we have, and that we worked with in Melbourne.
Well, first of all, that's not a deal breaker. I'm just asking about that anyway, so I'm just asking about that. The other part is, I know you've been out of it for a little bit. What about the updates on the laws that come out and as it relates to from the circuit, whether it's from the United States Supreme Court or whatever it comes from? How do you get your updates on the laws?
Yeah, I've been out now for about over a year, and during my absence, I just pretty much been taking care of my health with the VA, taking care of those issues. Feeling a lot better. I have the cane, but mostly for support. But to answer your question is, all attorneys have access to Florida Bar. Constantly puts out information to update you. They have the courses as well. Certain agents, certain entity that you can register for that they'll supplement you. They'll send you when there's cases update. PERC itself, employment. They have a link that you can go in there and you can see any kind of update cases that goes on. So there is access, and I'm sure they still have here Westlaw, but there's access even to do things through Westlaw. So lawyers always have a way, in addition to that, even by word of mouth, by just assuming, even these meetings I'm talking about, this Florida League of City is I mean, it's just a wealth of information to have in Florida League of City, and things that you can download and you can assist. Even when we had COVID, no one knew what was going on with COVID. Florida League of City was instrumental in getting things done and getting things passed and guiding the attorneys during that troubling time, including having Zoom meetings, which weren't even permissible back in those days. So there is means, and that's what I'll continue to do and get access to it. And probably the first thing I'll do is probably get a copy of that Florida League of City last packet that they passed, so I can start reading on those updated laws and ask questions. But yes, there's plenty of there's more than we can look at, but there's resources that we have out there.
All right, very good. And I just have one final question I want to follow up on. Is what is your philosophy when it comes to outside attorneys, hiring outside attorneys?
Well, I don't have the authority to hire outside attorneys. If anything issue comes up, I have to bring it up to the council. I don't remember during my times, other than the Grace brothers, that I requested an outside attorney, and I was only for that specific issue, which we wanted to have an agreement. And since the Graves was an issue prior to that, I thought, well, maybe this might be a way to bring someone in to handle that agreement that we were going to begin drafting up. So the only other way I can imagine having to have outside counsel is because of conflicts, and they do come up. I know you had one not too long ago with your building official, which I do agree with that call, because your attorney at that time, had to represent the board, and someone had to represent his interests and in front of that board. So things like that, I mean, you can't guess if those issues come up. But definitely, if an issue like that comes up, I will definitely start informing you guys and bring it before the board so you guys can vote on approving it, and of course put caps, like, only $20,000, and then beyond that, I got to come back to you again. Things like that, safeguards like that. But
all right, thank you so much for your answers, sir. Mr. Nunn?
I have no further questions at this time. I'm aware of Mr. Nunn.
All right, thank you so much. Anything else for Mr. Nunn from the board? Nothing? Okay, sir.
do you want me to call the next gentleman? 'Cause we're kind of early.
No, we are early, but you're good to go for now.
All right, roger that, sir. All right, thank you very much, board. Again, Happy New Year's.
Actually, take a quick break. Hey, the timer is not working.
No, it is.
Did the second side work?
No, it was not.
The second side's not working for some reason.
Maybe I didn't hit.
I don't know that we're going to really need it, but
Yeah,
we may need it this afternoon later
I
on.
must not have hit it the way.
Is it looking good out there, Joe?
Because we were like 23 and that one was still at 45.
How did you see that one? Oh, from the camera?
At the camera, she pointed. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, that's the only reason I knew is because. Oh, okay.
Oh.
So let that one go? Okay, is that one? I'm going to break it though. Yes, it's working now. Yeah, you're counting down. At least it worked before it worked before I broke it, but yeah. Okay, you're good. Thank you. I mean, I don't think we're going to need 45 minutes, but
Yeah.
But just in case, you've got your official count
Yes,
now.
thank you.
All right, Mr. Anastasia, thank you. Welcome. The first thing we're going to ask of you is to give an opening statement. If you're prepared and ready, we'd like to hear that.
Yes, briefly, I've come back a second time to apply. I like the city of Sebastian. Without sounding self-effacing, I like this particular governing body. I've been dealing with governing bodies for 45 years. I think you're a bunch of folks I can work with. Part of the critical component of considering a city attorney is fit. I think I would fit well in Sebastian. You've all given me personal expressions of policy and how you view things, and I think I'd make a good fit. And I'm available for your questions now. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. This time we're going to start to my right.
Okay.
Mr. Nunn.
John, I appreciate it, and I will say, I honestly feel like I had a better interview with you today than I did a few years back. I enjoyed the conversation we had, and I know one of the concerns was time. How long are you looking at being here? And I believe your answer to that was you have no time limit. You be here as long as you're needed.
Well, 10, 20 years, yes.
Okay. I mean, that's good. I mean, longevity is something we are looking forward to. No matter who it is we bring in, whether it's you two or somebody else down the road, we want somebody that's not going to be here a year because that gets to be cumbersome.
Jim's always the backstop.
Jim's our permanent backstop. But I don't have no further questions for John as well.
All right, thank you. So we'll have a couple of questions. Let's see. My first question is, when we hire an outside attorney, if you were our attorney, we hire an outside attorney or something to handle a case, how would you manage that or stay on top of the cost associated with that if there are any issues with it?
Well, first, before we hire our outside counsel, I have to do a thorough evaluation of the case and then establish what I consider to be a reasonable litigation budget. That litigation budget will be negotiated and then discussed with this counsel. I intend to keep on top of monthly billing to design guidelines for that particular piece of litigation, and those guidelines will be followed, or we'll get other outhouse counsel.
Right. All right. Thank you so much for that, sir. The other thing is the attorney will be required to obviously educate our boards and their procedures and the things that they can and can't do and the process associated with that. How would you deal with making sure that our boards are up to date, which also reduces litigation or chances of litigation by them being aware of the laws and rules that affect those boards?
Well, I'd like to take on an additional hat, even though it's not in the job description, and that of Chief Learning Officer for Legal Affairs for the city. I would intend to have initial, for your boards and committees, to have an initial training session and then periodic updates. The whole retraining initially wouldn't be for new board members. I would do those one-on-one over an hour or two, and they would cover, depending upon the board, how you deal with quasi-judicial hearings, evidence, decision theory, their responsibilities under the Sunshine Law, Public Records Law, and anything else that may be particular to that board. In terms of the departments, I'm going to have a review of each department in the city and figure out exactly what the training requirements are from the legal aspects, and then engage in that training with the cooperation of the department head and the CM.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir. I just have one more question. I'd like to know, how do you prioritize competing demands from different city departments or officials? You know, so you have the building department, the police department, all of those, and you have demands from each one of those coming. How do you compartmentalize that and manage those?
Well, While I would be a charter officer, I don't operate in a vacuum, and that would be in consultation with the CM. If there are those competing, I mean, he runs those departments. I simply provide legal support. Therefore, it would be in both consulting with this council as well as with the CM in terms of those particular priorities.
Right, and what happens if you see something that you believe should be taken care of and you need to discuss that with the CM or anybody else? How would you go about that?
Straight, direct, impartial, without any opinion as to the personalities.
All right, thank you, sir. I have no further questions. Mr. McPartland.
Well, both ends seem to take my question about the time committed, but I guess I come up with why do you think you'd be the best candidate for city attorney, having never served as a city attorney?
Well, actually, I served when I was younger and sat up on the dais and provided daily advice to a half a dozen municipalities in New Jersey. However, my stability, I've been practicing law on my own for 43 years. I am not a career bureaucratic attorney that jumps from position to position depending upon what's offered in terms of salary or other convenience. I'm interested in the city. I am interested in service. So my stability is a factor. As I've mentioned to a number of you, Society for Human Resources Management has had a number of studies indicating it costs about a year's worth of salary when you have to replace an employee that leaves or that is terminated. The city's has had, incredible costs for their attorneys over the years because of the change in staff. And I think that stability is very important. I am a generalist. I do not apologize for it. I've rotated through every specialty of law. I can handle anything you throw at me. Further, I take a multidisciplinary approach. I look at things through many facets, including the political facet. And these are things that I think will make me the best candidate in this particular case. I'm a rule follower, and I'm here to serve you, first and foremost, as representatives of the people of Sebastian.
All right, thank you.
All right. Thank you much. That's it for you,
Yeah.
Mr. McPartland? All right, Ms. Matthews?
I think I'm pretty good.
All right, thank you. Mr. Dodd?
Okay, Bob, you took my question. Touche, right?
Touche, exactly.
Okay, I just have one. Okay, as a city attorney for Sebastian, who is your client?
My client is the people of the city of Sebastian, and you're their representative.
Okay, that's what I wanted to hear.
I don't work for any employee of the city. I work for the elected officials, and you direct my work towards the CM and the department heads.
Thank you, sir. That's all I've got. Okay.
All right, I think that's it. Any more questions? Any other follow-ups?
No, sir.
Nope. Okay, well, get my glasses on real quick.
Uh-oh.
See you in 3 hours.
All right, you can go, sir. We're good.
I always get worried when the judges don't have questions during appellate arguments. I normally win in that case, but it's still unnerving. It was a pleasure seeing you all again and meeting Councilwoman Matthews for the first time, and I appreciate the opportunity to audition before you again. And I guess as the Russians say, "Do svidaniya," until we meet again.
All right, sir.
Have a great day.
All right, thank you so much for your time. And with that, we're going to go ahead and adjourn this workshop.